Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, Opie is going through a traumatic experience after discovering that his wife had a year-long affair with one of his best friends. They have 4 children, 2 of whom are autistic. The wife has suggested therapy and expresses remorse, but he is torn between working on the marriage for the sake of stability and separating due to the emotional turmoil. The well-being of the children, fear of loneliness, and concerns about financial consequences are major considerations. Now let's get into the story. I've been living in a nightmare for more than 2 weeks now. I don't know what to do and am absolutely desperate for advice, which is why I'm posting this. I'll start at the beginning. Apologies for the long post. My wife, 41, has been having an affair with one of my best friends. I would call him my second best friend for a year. We have 4 children, 2 of whom are autistic, and we've been married for 17 years. She is Canadian but lives with me in England on a marriage visa. My wife and my friend have been getting very close for a few years now, as they have shared interests in going to the theater together, going to comedy clubs, drinking, partying, etc. They are both extroverts and enjoy having a good time, whereas I am more introverted and prefer to stay at home. He also has children, 2 boys aged 8 and 12, and our families have known each other and been incredibly close for about 14 years. My wife and I have had a great marriage. We have always felt that we were meant for each other. However, over the years I've sometimes had a few problems performing in bed, which my wife usually responded quite negatively about, which made me feel worse about it. I'm probably also not quite as overly affectionate with her as she would like. I am definitely affectionate, compliment her, buy her flowers every so often, etc. But I know that she would want more than I give her on this front. Otherwise, our marriage has been genuinely fantastic and I am in shock that this has happened. About 2 weeks ago, I saw a message pop up on her phone that she'd left on the couch. It was from my friend saying how beautiful she was and how he was still thinking about the last time they were intimate. When I saw this message, I was so confused and shocked, and I kept trying to convince myself that it must have meant something else. But because I was suspicious, I checked her Maps timeline data that night while she was sleeping, and there was very damning evidence. The following night, I mustered all my courage and challenged her about it. She denied it over and over, gaslighting me, and then I showed her my evidence, and only then did she finally admit it. I begged her for the full truth, and she gave me a version of events that was, I later found out, very watered down. It took about 5 more days to get the full story, and that was mainly from my friend who decided to come clean with me, and his own wife, who I had to tell, and she had no idea either. She was absolutely devastated, screaming, crying, etc. All in all, they had intimate 7 times, with the time between the 5th and 6th time lasting about 5 months and the whole affair lasting 13 months. They also kissed, held hands, and did much more whenever they had the chance of privacy in between, even when the families were together. It's also worth saying that their affair started about a week after I found out that my mom had been diagnosed with cancer and would need some invasive treatment, surgery, chemo, etc. And therefore I was scared about the prospect of losing her. My wife's dad died a few years ago, and so did my friends, and I, of course, stood by them both and supported them fully during this. It also turns out, as she had told my friend and his wife about my performance issues and that she had called me dull and boring. All this talking behind my back also really hurt me, as I'd never said anything about our intimate life to anyone and never said anything bad about her behind her back. On the contrary, I have been her biggest supporter. The boring comment upset me because I work really hard for the family and I'm involved in a lot of community and political work, which I feel is anything but boring. But I suppose she meant in the sense of not enjoying clubbing, drinking, partying, and being mediocre in bed. Now, I don't know what to do. Should I separate from her? divorce her, or try to reconcile and fix our marriage age. She wants me to go to therapy and for us to go to couples therapy, both of which I've agreed to. I'm scared to separate, and especially divorce, because it would devastate my children, who are still quite young. 57, 10, 12, and my 2 autistic children would find the changes to their lives particularly distressing. I am also worried about living a lonely life. I'm the kind of person that needs a partner around me, as I get lonely fairly easily. I worry about things like getting ill alone or having an accident. I'm also 45 years old and not particularly attractive, whereas she is very attractive and would probably find someone else much more easily than me. There's also the fact that I still deeply care for her, and I already miss the life we had so much. The kids still don't know anything, and we're still living together, but our marriage is only what I can describe as in limbo. She assures me that she has never cheated on me with anyone else, although she does admit that she can drink too heavily sometimes when she is out, to the point where she is flirting with other people. But she maintains that she knows never to cross the line, and that it only happened with my friend because they developed a strong closeness over the years. But she is telling me that he will never speak to him again, that she's desperately sorry, and that she wants to be with me. So I need advice desperately. I'm a total mess and just don't know what to do. Should I work on the marriage for the sake of stability for the children and the hope that we can get back to where we were before and to avoid the fear of being alone? Or should I separate and slash or divorce, which would have been financial consequences for me also? I've only given the abridged version here, so if you have any questions about any of the details or anything else, then I'll try to elaborate. Today's second story. In this story, a 31-year-old man recounts his wife's abrupt departure in August 2020, allegedly for her mother's place. Suspicions of infidelity arose, confirmed by incriminating messages. Despite denials, the wife's actions spoke otherwise. He, initially clinging to illusions, eventually faced the truth and focused on self-improvement. Now let's get into the story. I'm a 31 male and my wife is 28. We have 2 kids ages 7 and 5. My wife asked me for a separation August 27, 2020. She left that day and was apparently living with her mom. The day after, I got messages from her cousin saying that she had been cheating on me. My wife claimed she never did up to this day. A week after we met up to do a Zoom meeting on her phone to meet our son's teacher online, she got a Facebook message saying something like, "Only a few hours left," with an eggplant emoji and peach emoji. After the meeting, I asked her if she could explain that, and she said she didn't want to talk about it, and that she had deleted the messages already. She said it was a girlfriend of hers because she was going on a date, and apparently girlfriends get excited for each other and think they're just going to get laid, which I obviously didn't believe at all. I got really upset and told her to leave. Around Thanksgiving October for us in Canada. She told me she was taking the kids to another city to visit her grandparents and go swimming for Thanksgiving. She ended up lying and actually went with our kids and this guy she apparently cheated on me with and stayed in a hotel. On their drive back, the car engine blew and died. The same car she fought me for and owes almost $12,000 on and still makes payments every couple of weeks. This is when I started to believe in karma a little bit more. Between September and November, my wife and I drank together and had sex around 5 or 6 times. I still wanted her back, and I really wanted to have sex with her. The part that I'm realizing now is that she had been seeing this guy for a while. I found pictures of them about a week and a half ago. Ever since I saw those pictures and confirmed things, I've stopped talking to her. I just wanted to believe all of her lies, even when they were obvious. So she cheated on me, left me for him, and was cheating on that guy with me. Just 2 weeks ago, before I found out for sure, she came over and we talked. She let me feel her up and give her a full body massage and everything. Right now, I can't even fathom what has been going on in her head. Some other extra facts: the kids are doing well. My apartment is spotless and I've lost 50 pounds since she left me. 235 pounds down to 185. She came to my place a couple times and has cried to me about how it's so unfair that I'm doing so much better than she is. She said it wasn't fair that I was doing all of this now and not when we were together. She told me she still loved me on Christmas and bought me Christmas gifts. Not just junk, but a bottle of sake because she knows how much I want to visit Japan and how much I enjoy making ramen and such. So she put thought into it. I don't mean to sound rude, but she doesn't look very good nowadays either. She put on weight and went hard into drugs and drinking. She told me she cries all the time. She told me she was depressed with me, left me thinking it'd be better, but is still depressed, and that messes with her. But as we know, happiness comes from within and she has none. So if you left me for someone else, at least be happy about it and make the best of it. She hasn't texted me for 4 days now. That's the longest she hasn't texted me in 4 months. She told me before when we were together that if she ever left, I would fail. Hell, when I started a job working in a kitchen, I started as a dishwasher, and she said I would never make any friends. Apparently, she forgot how social and good with people I am. All the waitresses loved me, and I moved from dishwasher to working on the line and then was asked if I'd want to bartend. At the time, I was overweight and my self-worth and confidence were shot, so I didn't take up the bartending job. She didn't like how many people, especially girls, ended up liking me. Throughout the marriage, whenever my wife and I would go out drinking, she would always end up twerking on the wall or the floor and letting guys videotape her. She flirted with everyone and even had many of my close friends thinking I wanted a threesome with her. I don't drink often, but one Halloween I drank too much at a friend's party and ended up passing out and throwing up everywhere. While I was doing that, she was in the bathroom with guys showing her chest off for free coke and who knows what else. But she convinced me nothing happened and ended up making me think I was crazy and that everyone else was wrong. Basically gaslighting me. I'm seeing a therapist now, and I'm learning that basically she just needed attention from external sources nonstop. Getting it from her husband just wasn't enough. I know we all have issues and our marriage wasn't perfect. I know I still love her and care about her, but I won't be a back burner or a second choice. I hate comparing how me and her are doing, but it makes me feel better. Right now I have my own place, a dog, happy kids, my own vehicle, money, and I'm a university. Even though I feel like complete garbage, I'm working through the emotions so I can fully move on and try to be at peace. Whereas she is living with her mom with a broken car, no vehicle, asking me for money and living off CRB COVID money. Unhappy and depressed, she thought the grass was greener and found that it wasn't. She is so afraid to be alone with her own thought that she still sleeps with her mom or the kids sometimes. When I have moved on, she will not have. I don't know if she will ever move on because she knows she made a mistake and is stubborn. In the end, I just don't know why. She cheated and left, but continued to text me, had sex with me, and told me how I'm doing so much better. It boggles the mind. But then again, how can you understand someone who doesn't even understand themselves? I'm doing well, but some weeks I just feel so much pain. Like she pulled my heart out, shattered it, and had sex with the other guy on top of the shattered pieces. Anyways, that's the story. There's so much more I could say and background that I could give, but I think this does it. Thanks for reading. Feel free to ask any questions or whatnot. It's a difficult time to get separated and cheated on, what with COVID happening at the same time.